Hi, welcome to another episode of Faith 234. This week we're going to talk a little bit about Doctrine and Covenants section 2 and kind of the end of the Joseph Smith history, chapter 1. So anyway, in D&C 2, when I thought about the whole thing, I just thought it was interesting that if the fact that Moroni came and not only just connected the restoration back to the Old Testament, I think was evidence to me that it actually did happen, that Joseph Smith didn't make it up. You have any comments on section 2 or Moroni?
Yeah, and I liked the way Moroni, he repeated the same thing so many times, just to make sure that Joseph had a complete understanding of everything that he was saying. There was no misunderstanding or no questions. And I think sometimes we complain that, our prophets and leaders teach us the same thing over and over. We always hear the same things. Maybe that's because
my mom always tells me I can do hard things.
Yeah. So I think the fact that it was repeated was a good precedence or a good example of how we need to learn. We need to hear things over and over again to make sure we don't misunderstand, but we understand all the doctrines.
Yeah, I like that. So, all right. And then in Joseph Smith's history, he talks about the struggles they had. His brother Alvin dies, but he was able to find work and meets Emma. I'm just impressed with Emma and her faith and her devotion. Even though at the end she didn't go out to Utah with the saints, I just am amazed at what she went through and what she was willing to endure along with Joseph Smith.
I agree. I think Emma was chosen just like Joseph was chosen to be Joseph's wife and help her and support her through the whole thing. I think she was an exceptional person.
Yep. And so when Joseph went to work, he didn't realize that he would meet Emma. He didn't know she was down there. And back when I was in 8th grade, I served as a class officer, 8th grade representative, what they called it. And at the end of the year, after they elected the new class officers, the old class officers, the outgoing group, would contact the parents of the new ones and then go early Saturday morning and kidnap them out of bed and then take them, around town, just do stupid stuff and then actually feed them breakfast. So when that, I don't even remember that happening to me when I got elected, but when I was going out, I remember going around and picking up the people. And one of them was at the Freeman household. And we went in the side door there and down the stairs. And I know I'd seen Lisa before, but that was because, you probably gave a speech during the election or something. So anyway. But just when we walked in the bedroom and, she woke up, or she probably awake, I don't know. But just her smile and radiant face and pretty eyes, it just struck me. And I'll never forget that feeling. So then we went through junior high and I don't know, we didn't really interact too much.
Not too much in junior high, huh?
Then in high school, and I think it was my friend Kirk Larson, who was in the same ward as me, made friends with you or some of your friends. Anyway, so my group of friends of Kirk Larson, Brad Ferguson, and a few others would hang out with her friends through high school, and that's where we really got to know each other. So anything else you want to add about the junior high years or getting...
No, I knew who he was, but he was one of those kids that was friends with everyone. He was friends with the jocks and the athletes, and he was friends with the skiers, and he was in the band, and he could sit with anyone or associate with anyone. He was everyone's friend, and that always impressed me. And so I just knew, I was just always thought he was a really cool kid, way out of my league,
No.
west of Maine. So
Barely.
but I think I knew who he was, and I always thought he was pretty cool. But we never really interacted in junior high. No.
Then in junior high, I remember once we started doing things together, we were just weird kids. Once I remember I wanted to move the pool table in our basement. For those of you that remember, it was kind of in a smaller room, and sometimes it was hard to get the sticks, you're up against the wall or whatever. So I wanted to move it out and move the couches where the pool table was. And so after school one day, I decided to have a pool table moving party, and invited my friends. And I think we cooked like little cheap, ugly, yucky frozen pizzas and things like that.
And it was so fun, but one of the most memorable parts, and you kids will all appreciate this, is how mad his mom got because we saw the dust.
Yeah,
underneath
not because we moved the
furniture.
pool table, but because, we saw the dust.
How could you bring your friends in through the garage, first of all, and let us see all the dust that was underneath the furniture?
Yeah.
But, so that was the kind of things we did. And once, I remember it was probably January, maybe, and he and Brad, another of our group, came to the house and they said, before we winterize the boat, we're going to go out one more time and ski. Do you want to come and ski with us? Well,
and it was one of those winters where it just wasn't cold. There was no snow. Beaver wasn't open. It was just warmer than usual.
Yeah, so not a ton of snow on the ground. It was just, and I thought, sure, and I'm grabbing my towel and all my things, and well, it turns out to be a hoax. They weren't going to go. They weren't going to go. They were just teasing. He was going to take the boat to
Well, we had the boat.
So, yeah.
We actually put the boat behind the car and pulled up in front of the house. So the boat was there.
Yeah.
So,
so
it looked like it,
I was game. I was all ready to,
she was.
to go out, and they said sorry. But do you want to come with us to somebody else's house so we can
so
them?
Actually we went to, after that I think we went to Vicki Smith's house, who is Lori's younger sister who married Bill, and she was a little bit sick and she wanted to go, but she got in an argument with her parents about going, and wait, it's just a joke, don't. But anyway, and Vicki was one of Lisa's friends that I dated. Of course, Lisa dated Kirk Larson and
Brad. I did date Brad a little bit in high school.
So we dated each other's friends, but never each other. We did double date once. I remember we took the motor home, and Kirk Larson got a roast from his dad, who was a butcher at Smith's, like a prime rib roast, and we cooked it in the motorhome and drove up the canyon and found a place to park and ate it there. I don't know who.
He was with Lisa.
Lisa Erickson.
Lisa Erickson.
And Kirk was with you. So
we stayed pretty much within the group.
Yeah, we really did. So we didn't date each other, but we went on at least one double date. I remember. I don't remember with different. people.
There may have been a couple, but and we went to dances as groups and things like that. So I think we were. Yeah,
we did a lot together. And we'd go the basketball games and football games at high school, the away games. We'd usually drive together. Our group of friends, and so we did quite a bit together, so that was fun. So, but all along, particularly in high school, again, there was just something. I didn't ever date her, didn't ask her out. That was my bad, but maybe it was for the better. But I just always knew that there was something special about her compared to her friends. And the night before I left on my mission, I just had a picture of me with all of her friends, and I took that with me on my mission, but whenever I look at it, it was always Lisa Freeman was always the face that stood out to me throughout those 2 years. So
well, and for 2 years I wrote him letters. I'd send him cookies. I sent cookies, and someone said if you pack the cookies in popcorn, then they won't break. And so I send him cookies, and then I would get a letter back saying, thank you, but they have popcorn in Pennsylvania, so you don't need to send any more. And
I was a jerk.
And when some friends and I got together and realized that he told one of the girls he liked peanut butter cookies best, and he told me that he liked the oatmeal chocolate chip cookies the best. So he got a few cookies on his mission.
Yeah, got a few. But you sent more, and yours were always better. So
I did, and he always, I don't know, he was always a good friend. It was always someone you could count on. Always, dependable. Always nice.
Well, there was one time after Kirk broke up with her, and he wanted to date other girls, and but then once he did, he realized that he really liked Lisa better. So he wanted to get back together, and Lisa. I realized this is not who I want to be with. So. Thanks for breaking up with me. It was a blessing.
Thanks for that idea, because it was.
But he started stalking her, and I remember once we were just driving around town. going over maybe to see you, and there was Kurt parked in his truck across the street from Lisa's house, and so we got out and just tried to talk some sense into Kurt, but he was kind of crazy at that point in time. So, but
I always knew that he had my back, and that I think about a lot.
Well, we all did. So do you want to talk about your patriarchal blessing now?
Yeah, one of the things that just finishing up the Book of Mormon and going into the Doctrine and Covenants, reading my patriarchal blessing, first of all, it tells me that, I'm a descendant of Joseph and related to the Nephites and Lamanites, and that I would find, inspiration in my life by reading and memorizing parts of the Book of Mormon, especially Helaman 13. And going through the book last year, I think years past I always thought, oh, that's where they're saying don't set your heart on riches and things like that. But this year when I was reading it, I got more of an impression that it was telling me to listen to the prophet and follow the prophet. And then as you go on in my patriarchal blessing, it says, always remember that truth never changes. That men will try to distort it and change principles and things, but to always follow the prophet, read the Book of Mormon, and remember that truth never changes. And so that's always meant a lot to me. And then coming now into the Doctrine and Covenants, it also tells me, certain sections to read and memorize to be prepared for the things that are coming in this life. So the scriptures mean a lot to me and have done a lot to inspire and help me.
And what else is your patriarchal blessing to say?
Okay, and this is a fun part. You will find your mate in harmony with your plan before you came here, because you knew him before you came to earth and plan to live here and establish an eternal dominion for your friends who are waiting to come as your children. So you guys knew us before we came here, and we knew each other, and we planned to come down and be a family. So I think that's very exciting.
Yeah, and mine isn't that specific, my patriarchal blessing. So that's why she needed to hug me at the airport after my mission, is because I was kind of clueless and didn't have as much guidance and direction as she did. And she's always been the one that's been more spiritually in tune. So it was a good thing that she did that. So although it really didn't take much convincing at all, because and we'll talk more about our dating after the mission, but when I was on my mission a few months before I came home, got a letter from a mutual friend, Larry Williams, who said he felt that Lisa and Mark Haslam were close to getting engaged. And throughout the mission, I just I got letters, cookies from Lisa, and just didn't think too much about marriage or who I'd be dating after the mission. But once I got that letter, that just hit me hard that, wait, no, that's not right. Like, that's not supposed to happen. I didn't connect why, but once I got home and saw her again and we started dating, then I realized why it was such a strong impression to me that she wasn't supposed to marry Mark Haslam, but I was, I was gonna marry her. So, which, I asked her to marry me. I don't know. We can't remember if it was the first or second date, but okay, it was the first date. But it was kind of sarcastic, but behind sarcasm, there's always some truth there.
Yeah.
So.
But I think reading this and then knowing how I felt about him, just from the time I met him, in junior high, that I always knew there was something special about him, and that feeling never went away. I think is, the Spirit telling us this is how it's supposed to be.
Yep. Yeah, my blessing says that I'll be inspired to find a young woman worthy of your ideals. So, and that definitely worked out. So
It did.
All right. So we love each other. We're happy it's worked out, and we're even blessed with the results of that marriage, meaning kids and grandkids. And love you all, and thank you for your support. And we just want you to know that we do have testimonies of the gospel. And we know that living by the Spirit is the way to live.
So keep the faith.
And keep the commandments.
Love you.
Bye.